Hey fam, how's it going? Speed Duel Bro here, and in today's video we have Cyber Blade Fusion. Let's get right to it. For the skill card we have Cyber Blade Fusion. For monster lineup we have 2 Blade Skater, 2 Etoile Cyber, 2 DD Warrior Lady, and 3 Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. And fun note on a little bit of trivia, this is actually DD Warrior Lady before she became DD Warrior Lady. Oh yeah, fam, if you didn't already know, especially the newer Yu-Gi-Oh fam, if you look at the card's artwork, you'll notice that the cards have a story to tell. Just pay attention to the details. Anyways, continuing on, we have 3 Creature Swap, 3 Rhodas, and 3 Book of Moons. And then to finish off the deck, we have 3 Widespread Ruins. And then for the extra deck, 2 Cyberbladers. How to win / strategies. Now before we review the game plan fam, let's go over the skill card Cyberblade Fusion real quick. It reads, once per turn, you can discard 1 card to fusion summon 1 Cyberblader by sending either Etoile Cyber or Blade Skater from your field to the graveyard as 1 fusion material, and the other material from your hand, field, or deck to the graveyard. That Cyberblader gains 400 attack. This skill can be used twice per duel. Well, I'll be, this skill is pretty busted. It's actually very good. I wish Jaden would have gotten something like this. But as you can see, with this skill card, our power play is going to be fusion summoning Cyberblader to the field immediately, as early as early game or mid game. And all we have to do is get one of these 2 monsters out onto the field and then go about our business. And with 3 Reinforcement of the Army and 3 Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, and for those of you that don't know what this card does, it's basically Giant Rat but for Earth Warriors. And it just so turns out that Etoile Cyber and Blade Skater are Earth Warriors, so getting them onto the field is very and extremely achievable during the early game stage of a duel. And to my pleasant surprise fam, I'm a little amazed that the Cyberblader that is fusion summoned through the skill card gets a nice little 400 attack boost, thus making it into a 2500 beater, which is very respectable because at 2100, yeah, it's okay, but if we're gonna face off against the stronger monsters, 2100 can still be run over, you know? So Konami definitely blessed Alexis with this one. Now fam, let's talk about Cyberblader real quick. So let's push these to the side and talk about the boss monster herself. Now, I know that Cyberblader has all these neat effects depending on how many monsters the opponent has on their side of the field. But here's the thing fam. Me personally, I would never want to be in a position wherein the opponent has more monsters over me, because usually that means they have more advantage, and that's not good. And all I'm trying to say fam is that in my experience of dueling, it's been easier for me to contain and defeat the opponent when the opponent has 1 or no monsters at all on their side of the field, versus when there's 2 monsters on their side of the field, because they can still do something. If they lose 1 monster, they still got something on the field and they can still make a play. So for me, the playstyle of this deck is a fast-paced beatdown deck because we really can bring out Cyberblader just like that. And don't get me wrong fam, I do appreciate Cyberblader's effects, because at best Cyberblader definitely throws a wrench in the opponent's plans, because it's like, oh, it makes the opponent think, if I summon this and I summon that, this is what I'll be dealing with, and I don't know if I can deal with that. So it's definitely a stun card, if you will. But all in all, Cyberblader is definitely a solid boss monster, especially if we bring it out early game, first or second turn, you know. Now that we've discussed the power play of this deck, let me show you another strategy that this deck has up its sleeve. Or I dare say it's even the main strategy fam. Let's go. Now the other strategy revolves around Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. And as mentioned before, Warrior Lady of the Wasteland is just like Giant Rat, except for Earth Warrior monsters with 1500 attack or less. And for those of you that have been watching my channel, for a while now, you already know what's coming. Anytime that there's a floater monster, and for those of you that don't know, another side note, floater means that a monster is able to replace itself when it's destroyed. Okay? So we've got a floater monster. You already know what's coming, fam. Creature swap. That's right. So we're gonna creature swap our warrior lady of the wasteland for the opponent's monster, and then we proceed to the battle phase. Now, fam, depending on what's else is on the opponent's field, that's what you're gonna bring out. So in this scenario, there's nothing else on the opponent's side of the field, right? So if you wanted, you could bring out Etoile Cyber, because Etoile Cyber has that effect of, if this card attacks directly, it gains 500 attack during the damage step only. So you'd be dealing 1700 points of damage. That's close to 2000, which is half of the opponent's life points. But in most cases, fam, I would probably just bring out another warrior lady of the wasteland, because after the battle phase, our turn ends and it's going to be the opponent's turn. And so they might be looking to neutralize our field, and they're going to go after Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. And when that happens, then we can bring out one of the fusion material monsters for Cyber Blader, so that come our turn, we can go about our business, which is fusion summon into Cyber Blader. So there you go. Now this is where Book of Moon comes in, because as we all know, Book of Moon is a great universal utility card. It will protect our Cyber Blader from the opponent's back row, you know, things like Nightmare Wheel or Hammer Shot or anything of that manner. Book of Moon is there to keep our monsters safe. So in a way, Book of Moon helps deal with back row. As I've said before, universal utility with Book of Moon. And then where Widespread Ruin comes in, fam, is this. Now if you notice, our main monster lineup right here, they're all kind of weak. So there's going to be times where we'll just have these lower attack monsters out on the field. So I just wanted to be able to protect them. And also with Widespread Ruin, it protects our Cyber Blader from DD Warrior Lady or Zoma or anything that can crash into our monsters. You know, I just wanted to keep them safe at all costs. Card analysis. The skill card Cyber Blade Fusion. Such an excellent skill card for this deck, because all we need is one of these monsters out on the field. Then we can send the other fusion material either from the hand, field, or deck to the graveyard. And the Cyber Blader gets a little 400 attack boost. That's a lot of goodness right there. And we can even use it twice per duel. What more could you ask for in a skill card? And then we play the 2 Blade Skater and the 2 Etoile Cyber. Now this, fam, I felt like was mandatory because we can use the skill card twice per duel. And then we play the 3 Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. As mentioned earlier, fam, anytime that there's a floater monster, 9 times out of 10, I am going to pair it up with Creature Swap, because the advantage that we gain over our opponent when we pull this off successfully, it's just too good to pass up. And most of the time, when we pull this off successfully, the duel is like 80 to 90% already in our favor. And then we play the 2 DD Warrior Lady. Now this, fam, is pretty much self-explanatory. DD Warrior Lady is a staple, instant monster removal upon summon, and the fact that it's a warrior, it just fits in well with the overall theme of the deck. And then we play the 3 Creature Swap. I'm not gonna go over it again, fam. I've done it already many times in this deck profile video, so I'm just gonna say that it's one of my favorite personal tech, okay? And then we play the 3 Rhoda, which is also mandatory or staple in this deck because all of our monsters are all warriors. So the fact that we can search out any warrior at any given time, excellent for the deck. And just to squeeze something in real quick, the fact if we draw into Creature Swap opening hand and we have a Rhoda, oh, you know what play we're going for. And then we play the 3 Book of Moon. Now this is, again, universal utility against our opponent's back row. Specifically, our opponent's back row. Of course, you can use it to put the opponent's monsters face down and all. But my purpose with Book of Moon in this deck is to protect our Cyber Blader from any back row the opponent may have. And then we play the 3 Widespread Ruin. As mentioned earlier, fam, our monster lineup is kind of lacking in terms of attack strength. You know, aside from Cyberblader, our main monster lineup all have pretty weak attack. So there's going to be times wherein this is all we're going to have on the field. You know, you just never know what situation a duel will put you in. So with Widespread Ruin, we can at least protect our monsters from the opponent's stronger monsters. Or in Cyberblader's case, we're going to protect her from DD Warrior Lady or Zoma or what's that one other card? Exploder Dragon. You know, so that's why Widespread Ruin is in this deck. Alright, moment of truth, fam. Where does this deck rank on the power scale? In my humble opinion, this deck is semi-competitive. Now, the reason why I say it's semi-competitive, fam, is because we're obligated to run a normal monster in the deck. And I know that my OGs and veterans know this about normal monsters, but for the newer fam in Speed Duels, and by the way, welcome to the Speed Duel fam and community, but let's get back to the normal monster topic. Let's just say that normal monsters are not the most optimal monsters to be playing in the main deck. But where this deck is competitive is the fact that we have the ability to bring out a boss monster early game. So with this deck, we are at our strongest in the early game to mid game stage of a duel. Because the ability to bring out a 2500 beater with multiple effects depending on what the opponent decides to do, that's a real threat for the opponent. It really is. And sometimes with how fast this deck can move, fam, the opponent may not be able to respond in time, or they may not be able to catch up to us. Like I said, this deck in essence is a fast-paced beatdown deck. So there you go, fam. That's the deck. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to hit the like button. Helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to me already, your Speed Duel bro, you're more than welcome to subscribe because 2 things. 1, I always play to win, and I'll teach you how to win. And 2, if you love Speed Duels, I'm sure you'll love me too, your Speed Duel bro. Alright fam, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.